Welcome everybody to the pick. And what a final we have for you today. Right, Alex?
Yeah, super excited. So let's go ahead and do a little bit of...
No, but hold on. There's a reason we're here, and it's pick 14.
I guess you're going to tell me.
Well, it's about fate. All right? Now, you might have your own understanding of what fate means, but I'm going to try and paint a picture for you here. So, anyone know who this is? What? Oh my God.
Before my time.
You don't know? Someone famous, yeah. It's Ingmar Bergman. One of the greatest film directors of all time. Call out to my friend Teddy in the audience. Did you know he was born on the 14th of July?
I didn't know that.
14-7. Pick 14. Right, you're starting to see. So, yes, he was from, anyone know? Uppsala. Uppsala. Now, here's the thing, right? If Alex, my colleague here, was to take a little trip up to Uppsala from here, right? And he took that road and he goes, it's 7-hour drive, right? And right, you took a detour coming back.
Oh, okay.
But
some beers.
That's 7 and 7 is 14, right? Cool. And let's do some math. What's 14 minus 7? 7, right? What's his most famous film, right? Yeah? Anyone want to take a go at the pronunciation of this one? De Hunde in Seglet.
Pretty good.
Yeah, there you go. So Max von Sydow, in this famous scene in the film, him on the right, on the left is not a guy you want to meet, right? He is from Lund, and Lund is how far from here, Alex?
14 kilometers.
It's 18 kilometers from here, so he walked the last 4. Anyway, when was this film set?
Dave, I'm gonna guess that it was the 14th century.
14th century, right? Moving on. LocWorld49. What's 4 plus 9, Alex?
13 days.
How many pick sessions are there?
There's 1.
What's 13 plus 1? Look.
14.
It's all there, folks. It's written. Hey, speaking of fate, I don't know if you saw this post. Lots of great posts ahead of LocWorld. One from Anne-Marie, our colleague, talks about fate and her lucky pen. And I loved it, and I wanted to call it out. Hey, we got to move on, I think, right?
Get on with it. Yes, get on with it.
Oh, I am enjoying this scene.
Get on with it.
We have fate. We will move on. Alex.
So at this time, I'd love to invite our talented dragons up to the stage. Our process dragons who will help judge the competition. They're also going to pose the tough questions to our innovators after each pitch. So I'm happy to welcome first, we have Giulia Tarditi from Qualtrics. Next, we have Esther Curiel from Zoetis. And our local representative, Britta Aagard from Semantix. Welcome, dragons. My name, I forgot, is Alex Burnett. I work for LocWorld. I'm thrilled to be co-hosting this with Dave Ruan of XTM. And this is your pick team. Lastly, I want to call out, we also have a very talented and helpful advisory board that has guided us and helped us to continue to develop and innovate and improve our platform. So I'd like to thank Donna Parrish, Jeff Kaiser, and Alessandra Benazzi, who are our fantastic advisory board as well. Back to you, Dave.
Oh, you've more to do.
I have a little bit more. I also want to say our Multilingual magazine has been a long supporter of this competition as well, and they've been so generous to donate a couple of articles. So our winner and runner-up each get an article in Multilingual magazine very soon. So thanks to Marioline, who couldn't be here, and the Multilingual team.
Get on with it, right? Let's get on with it. So as you saw, these are our innovators. Let's get them on stage. They've 3.5 minutes, folks. Yeah, 3.5. Then they'll have questions from our dragons. Then after it all, you get to vote. Yay. So first up is Bruno. Bruno, join us.
Come with me and you'll be.
Thanks, Dave. Look, Bruno.
Dear LocWorld community, dear dragons, did you know? Blackbirds are migratory birds, literally connecting vast ecosystems. They fly from Africa to Europe, connecting South and North America. They're amazing creatures. Blackbird.io has a similar purpose. We want to connect vast ecosystems. We want to connect all the dots between systems that are disparate. Some of the key categories that we are able to connect as an integration platform as a service include translation management systems, content management system, large language models, natural language processing models, and everything in between, including communication apps, cloud storage, and so on and so forth. But today, I would like to focus and talk about a particular opportunity that this technology opens up. And that's the opportunity to consider accessing analytics applications to drive our automated localization processes. In this particular workflow that we are able to build in Blackbird, that you're all able to build in Blackbird without using code, we start with a content management system, Zendesk, where our client publishes knowledge base article. We can straight go to MT, push it back, and then add the delay operator in order to aggregate sufficient volume of data so that we can make a well-informed decision on what we will want to do next. In this particular example, we access the API endpoint of analytics that shows us the traffic data, the volume of visitors going to that website. And with one click, again, no code needed, we are able to set up a decision. And this is a logical decision, for example, to say, if you observe that the volume of traffic is low, then we can leave it as it is. Then it's not the best decision to put our resources and budgets into that. If we see that the volume of visitors is medium, then we can consider a human-in-the-loop process with MTP, perhaps even adding further technologies like MT, quality estimation technology. Finally, if we see that the volume of traffic is really high, then that opens up a range of opportunities for service providers to add all kinds of value-added services, from SEO to copywriting, and definitely all the linguistic services. I would like to show you one more example and provide some of our vision and some key takeaways, what we believe this opportunity could mean for this industry. In this second example, we start with Salesforce Commerce Cloud. Again, we use MT, push it back, again, access an API endpoint in an analytics app. But this time, we look at the conversion rate. We look at how well that landing page is performing. And we could set up a logic if the conversion rate is healthy, things are okay, then again, we don't need to commit more resources because it's already working. However, if we see that something is not right, we can have human in the loop, not just for linguistic services, but all kinds of content-related activities. So what this means, in my opinion, is that this is a great opportunity to consider not just quality as a key performance indicator, but also performance, so the outcome of all the things that we do, to look at what yields the best results, what marketers call attribution modeling. And we can see a convergence of language operations and content operations, again, opening up so many opportunities for language solution providers to go up the food chain. Thank you.
Bruno, well done. It's done.
Thank you, Dave.
Now, let's see what the dragons have to say to you.
Yeah, I hope. Yes, my mic's on. Thank you very much, Bruno. Very interesting.
Hi, Britta.
I mean, we have been talking about connectors in this industry forever. So, but I'm curious. What was the inspiration actually for you to build this? So, you're talking about moving up the food chain. So, where does the idea come from?
So some of you know that this is my second professional home. I joined this industry 7 years ago and became very inspired and very happy to have this as my professional home, but my first professional home was a different industry. I spent about 15 years in digital marketing world, and my first company was a digital marketing agency. And there about 10 and 15 years ago, there was a very interesting inflection point when Google Analytics came on the scene, and I observed that, and that was part of that wave of change, seeing how using analytics, using data, using technology opens up new ways of thinking about what we create. Also, I saw that while we have to have talent, and we have so much talent in this room, we also have to have technology and process and data. So when I joined in this industry in 2017, I saw a lot of innovation, a lot of great ideas. But coming from another environment, I also thought that some of the concepts coming from digital marketing, especially analytics, looking at business outcomes, thinking about what works well, not just what is cool or beautiful or nice, could be applicable. And now we have the technology to do it in a way that doesn't require expensive engineering time. So this can be something that is accessible to all in this industry.
Bruno, hi.
Hello.
How plug and play is this? Like, give me an example, sort of, in terms of integration days or the project that you've recently completed.
So we are very committed to building out a roster of what we call public apps, pre-built applications. There are currently about 50 apps. You have seen some of the logos on the first slide. This covers most TMSs, business management system, cloud storage, communication apps, and lots of emerging technologies. So these are immediately usable by our users in a visual canvas that we call our bird editor, and it's point and click. So if someone is aware of what they do, if there's good articulation of what the process is, then it's very easy to build it. Usually the difficulty is when there is lack of clarity in how things are or how they should be. But from a technology perspective, it is really no code. It's a visual way of building workflows. Now, that said, it can get quite complicated when there's a 50-step workflow with operators involved and loops and nonlinear processes. And if we want to make sure that it's really production ready, it's a good idea, right, to involve solution architecture.
Stress test it, right?
Yeah.
Give it a good stress test. Thank you, Dragons, for the questions. Bruno, thank you. Very well done.
Thank you.
Come on, Bruno. Oh, next on stage, Giada, join us.
Translation tests suck. How often have you heard this in our industry? A translation test is a sample text that companies send to freelance translators to validate their competency upon onboarding. It's pretty common practice in recruitment, but it may be a heavy lifting task for LSPs, because companies perform hundreds or thousands of tests every year, and each may take from 3 to 10 hours to complete. And the result is mostly collective frustration. On the freelancer side, for company staff, and for clients who get frustrated with the long ramp-up times. As a fast-growing boutique agency, we at Creative Words had our wow moment in 2021. We realized that in spite of 81% of the candidates passing our tests, only 48% of them would make it to become reliable translators we could work with on our regular workflows. In short, testing was working as a macro-level skimming activity, meaning it would help us tell what was very good and what was very poor. But it left a gray area in the middle where quality results could only be assessed during the actual cooperation. And for what was only a macro-level skimming activity, we were spending 0.5% of our revenue. We knew there must be a better way of doing this. So we came up with CWISE, a self-developed platform where test translations are assessed using artificial intelligence. What does that mean? We use BERT score, that's a metric that assesses linguistic quality based on contextual embeddings and with good grasp of sentence level nuances. Basically, the candidates log into the platform, they upload their ISO compliance documentation, which is sent straight to our servers. Then they get access to a randomly generated, unique piece of test based on a proprietary data set that's been pre-cleaned and pre-categorized for topic and complexity. They have 2 hours to complete the test. They submit it, they get the AI scored. It's quick, it's efficient. A lot of steps are automated, which reduces the risk of errors, and it helps us save a lot of time. And time is important, we all know, and especially today from this stage during the pick. I can hear your question coming, what about quality? Now, we said the tests are very good to tell what is promising and what is bad, with a gray area in the middle where quality results are not clear. Well, our pilot project has proven CWIs to be comparably effective, with a gray area in the middle and a 95% correspondence with human LQA results for the top and the lowest ranked tests. So why is this a game changer? It helped us reduce the labor costs related to tests by 90%. Time to result was also much shorter, and because of the platform, we could offer our clients better scalability, so for better customer experience. In terms of company reputation, ghosting towards the freelancers got zeroed, and the evaluation bias was also reduced. Because we were using a tech-based platform for recruitment, that would help us attract talent that is more tech-oriented and more flexible, thus improving the fit upon onboarding and during the entire cooperation. All of this without having to compromise on quality and sweeping away that feeling of frustration, which was priceless. So where are we taking this next? We are currently working at the development of CWIs, further development of CWIs to bring it into our mainstream processes, and we are thinking over the level of productization we want to achieve. Wherever this will take us, we would be very happy to share some of this knowledge with the rest of the industry. Thank you.
Great stuff. Giada, did anyone hear AI there again, right? Questions?
Giada.
Oh, Giulia.
Very nice. You said that the test is AI generated. How are you taking your customers' unique content specificities in the process?
So it started from our TMs, and that's been pre-cleaned, so making sure no confidential information is there, although an NDA is signed before starting the test, so that's already some sort of risk mitigation.
What if the customer has like a, he's from a specific industry, and how are you making sure that that AI-generated test is relevant?
When it has to become customer-specific, I think we will have to address the peculiarities of every single customer. But in general, like for testing in a broader sense, we took the data set that we have, we made sure it was pre-cleaned, we made sure there was a segment categorization based on the complexity level, so that we could make sure that all tests, although they are unique in a way, would have a comparable degree of complexity. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm curious. I hear how the candidate experience would be a lot better because they're not getting ghosted, they're getting their results immediately and so on. But I'm wondering if you got any pushback in terms of I'm being evaluated by a machine.
Absolutely.
Not correct.
And that's exactly what I meant when I said it helped the fit during the onboarding. Because people who would reject this type of recruitment, who would not be open to an experiment in a way, are not necessarily an ideal fit for creative words where we experiment a lot. So in a way, that was exactly one of the benefits we experimented. In fact, for the people we got into the test, the outcome was very good and the feedback was very good, precisely because that acts as a filter.
That makes a lot of sense. Thanks.
Thank you.
And yeah, last question for me, Giada, and very impressive. You were mentioning that you're already thinking about further development. So how scalable is this? Could this eventually be a QA tool also for other than test translations?
I think so. I think so. We are in the development, so of course everything is testing, right? But the idea in the end is very simple, because bird scores start to evaluate linguistic quality. So I definitely think so. Maybe if I have to foresee an issue with that is that you are not able to track the type of corrections. So that would be good for LQA, but not for sharing feedback. So that's something that it needs to be taken into account at least.
Good, thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Well done, Giada.
Thank you.
See? They're fast moving along. We'll ask Marina to join us next.
Ladies and gentlemen, big dragons. The trigger for this innovation came a few years ago when we transitioned from the classic SLV-based localization model to a community-based localization model. Now, this transition entailed that suddenly we had to run language quality assessments, or LQAs, not on 80 SLVs, but on 4,000 individual translators. To manage 80 quality assessment, we needed 3 linguistic managers. So how many would we need for 4,000 reviews? Simple math tells us 150. So we faced the choice to either enter the Guinness Book of Records for having the largest linguistic department in the world, or ruin the business, or innovate. And innovate we did. We developed an automated, data-driven, dynamic LQA service to manage all aspects of a very complex LQA process end to end. And this is how this service works. It all starts with translated data, previous LQA scores, quality trends, length of experience, and more. Based on a risk calculation, the service schedules the start for the next LQA review. For excellent translators with low quality risk, the start would be in 2 months. For average translators, in a week. For underperformers or newcomers, the start would be immediate. Once the scheduled date arrives, the LQA service starts routing completed translations to the reviewers. It knows how to select the right jobs and content. For example, 2 big jobs are discarded. It also knows to whom to show the review jobs. For instance, linguists who work both as translators and reviewers wouldn't see their own translations to prevent them from evaluating them on their own. The jobs are routed for review until the required minimum sample has been reviewed, then the cycle stops and the new LQA score is calculated. Now, based on this new score and other data, the service schedules the start of the next LQA review when the whole cycle starts again. Additionally, the service provides data for the next business workflows, such as promotion, demotion, and RCA. Naturally, the service sends an email to translators to inform them about their newest score, their quality trend, recommended actions, and directs them to a detailed report where all issues are annotated and commented. Translators review the report, agree or disagree, and trigger reassessment. If they trigger reassessment, the service generates a reassessment task where translators can disagree with the errors and provide feedback. Once this is done, the report is sent to the reviewers, who can accept or reject the translator feedback. Afterwards, the report goes to a linguistic services manager, who arbitrates any outstanding issues where there is still some disagreement. The service can also detect blocked cycles, track progress, and even remind linguists to complete their tasks by the deadline. And all of this is fully customizable. Project managers can select the error weights, thresholds, risk factors, many parameters to adjust the service to the specifics of their own project. And even though it may sound really complicated, the business logic behind this service is fairly simple. So we hope that the audience here will adopt at least some elements of this solution. With this solution, we did miss on our chance to get into the Guinness Book of Records, but we succeeded in managing individually the quality of 4,000 translators. And most importantly, we remain faithful to our creed, which is no to manual touch points, yes to the human touch. So let me get back to the question I asked at the start. How many linguistic service managers do we need for 4,000 reviews? With our solution, it's 1. And what does this 1 manager do? Well, she arbitrates the reports, communicates with linguists, and supports them. In other words, she brings the human touch. Thank you very much.
Well done. Well done, Marina.
Thank
Very
you.
interesting. Human touch. Dragons.
Marina, I'd love to understand if you needed to make any trade-offs, did you need to sacrifice some quality perhaps for the benefit of scalability?
Not at all. On the contrary, it's actually much better because before with the SLV model, quality is evaluated per SLV in a sense, right? You have a language, a project, so you run an LQA evaluation on that language project SLV. But you don't know exactly how many translators are behind the translation, who exactly those are, how often they change. Right now, we are reviewing the quality of every translator individually, and even we go more detailed per project, quality level, industry, and so on. So a single translator can actually have 5 cycles running if this translator is working on 5 different combinations of quality level, could be high marketing, standard IT translations, and so on. So we have a very, very granular quality management, and we haven't sacrificed anything.
Sounds great, thanks.
Quick question. It's obvious to me how you're saving money, but how are you passing those savings on to your customers?
Well, quality management, in our case, we are offering a final rate, right, to the customer. And everything is baked into that rate. And with a community solution, that rate is significantly lower.
Thank you.
I wanted to tie into Esther's question as well. I mean, previously you said you had outsourced the LQA to your SLVs. Have you been surprised about the output that you get now of your quality assessment?
Let me clarify the question. We did not outsource quality evaluation to SLVs. What do you mean by that?
No, sorry, but you had only, as you said, you had only one point of contact, and you actually didn't know what was done.
Yes. So they were responsible for the final quality.
So
yes.
Is there anything in the data now, in the output, that surprised you compared to previous quality assessments?
Well, let me see. One of the things that really surprises me is a large proportion of really excellent translators, right? You could see the review schedule, and when you think about it, you would expect some sort of a normal distribution, but in fact, there are lots of excellent translators, maybe because those who are not excellent, after a couple of fails, are just out of the community, right? And they don't work anymore. But no, not really. The issues are really the same. It's just that now we can manage them on a micro level per individual translator and provide customized training to translators, because we know for every single translator where is the weak spot. And we detect that, and in our feedback to translators, for example, in our RCAs and quality follow-ups, we direct the translator to a specific type of training, saying, based on your LQA results, you have issues in terminology or style, go there, read there, take this course, and before you continue, you actually have to pass it.
Excellent, thank you.
Great. Marina, thank you very much. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'll keep going. So Frédéric, join us.
Hello, LocWorld. Hello, Dragons. My name is Frederik Pedersen. I'm the CEO and co-founder of EasyTranslate, and I'm here today to pitch EasyContent.AI. So I know that all of you guys probably already know about AI generative content, but it is increasing rapidly, and we are expecting the market to grow to over 50 billion in the next 5 years. And this will initially mean that LSPs and TMSs will need to adapt their business model to support generative AI. And the reason for that is that generative AI is 100 times faster than traditional translation, because it makes the translation step unnecessary. So that made me think, what is then our real added value if it's not translation? Are the customers buying the ability to communicate to their target audience in local languages? We believe that supporting our customers in expanding into any market in any language by supporting the whole content lifecycle stage. And so how would that even be possible? So first of all, to create good content, zero-friendly content, you need to work in content pillars and content clusters. If you don't have content pillars already, our software supports you in creating the content pillars by by actually describing your business in a short kind of sentence, deciding on the number of pillars that you would like to own and dominate. We generate both the pillars and the suggested keywords, which is referring to a content cluster that you would need to kind of create content around. So under each content cluster, you have the ability to actually generate content pages. And here you have both the choice of doing one or multiple suggestions. You can choose blog posts, but you can also choose in whatever language that you wish to generate content within. So here you will seamlessly straight away get a lot of different headlines and suggestions for doing these content pieces. But you can, and then you can of course select which ones you would like to move forward with. And we will straight away calculate a price for not only generating the content, but also doing the copywriting. So what we have built into our software is not only generative AI, but actually sourcing it to copywriters within the specific languages and giving them the ability to both doing the prompts and doing the edits for further learning. So this is how EasyTranslate is visioning, scaling content across platforms. So what is this innovation enabling EasyTranslate? It's not only enabling us to tap into the LSP market, it actually enables us to tap into a $160 billion market that is growing to over $500 billion in the next years. That is as we are combining AI with humans, utilizing the human edits to fine-tune the large language models to make content scalable and seamless across all platforms. So let's join forces with AI and expand and open the door to an even bigger market than we know. Yeah, I also did this actually. I blacked out when we did the training. So join forces with AI. Yeah. And expand our market potential, revolutionize our industry together.
How can I get a bit of that 162 billion? Like, you know, can you cut us in here somehow? What's the?
So basically, the $160 billion market is digital content, and as this here enable us actually not only to work with bilingual content, but actually enable us to both work with monolingual content and bilingual content. We see it as an opportunity to actually expand our market offerings and go into new market segments. And that would also be, I mean, the next thing for us would definitely be voiceover videos, designs, all, you know, it's important that it's generated by AI.
Moving out of standard content. Brilliant. Good stuff, Frédéric. Let's take questions, because I'm sure there are a few.
Thank you, Frédéric. I think you blacked out at the perfect timing here. So you made your point. So interested, I mean, now that we're not talking about translation anymore and the per word model is then also not applicable, what is the pricing model? What are your customers paying for if they engage with your solution?
So 3 years ago, we made a promise that we don't want to earn money on translation. And the same goes for copywriting. So our software enables our customers to interact with a marketplace of freelancers, and they only pay the rate of the freelancers. We handle all payments and all interactions between the customers and the freelancers, but the actual rates and whatever discounts is given on reps and whatever, that is between the customer and the freelancers, because we experienced that the market had kind of like a full competition, and we didn't want to be into that price pressure. Therefore, our business model today is purely subscription-based and based on volume and features. And the same goes for AI generative content.
Interesting. Thank you.
We'll take one more quick question.
Frédéric, this is not a prototype, right? This is working. It's in production. Can you tell us a bit about the type of customer that you have? Because I see this, I see the huge potential, you know, for marketing, global content marketing, etc. Is it marketing departments? Is it, who is your customer?
Marketeers is heavy customers, e-commerce businesses and technology businesses. We are looking a lot into, without getting, okay, I can actually do it here. So basically when you are, storing all your strings into our libraries, so we could also generate content based on the strings to make it more seamless or give maybe a head start to the content writers when they are doing content in the prototypes. So we are really kind of like, yeah, actually the hard thing here is to narrow the scope down because the option is infinity. But I think actually the really interesting thing here that have been giving me a lot of awake nights is how will our industry create enough added value to not be, you know, redundant? Because generative AI is really good, but I think if you have tried it, if you want to, for instance, write something out that is important, it doesn't really fit your tone of voice. So I think that is where the area that we are focusing in a lot.
Brilliant. Well done. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Well done, Frédéric. Good job. I thought I'd hear someone shout bingo. You know, generative AI bingo. Is no one playing at the back? Jim, I thought you were playing. He's not there yet. All right. Good stuff. Well, we'll keep going. Another Frédéric coming on stage now. Let's move it forward.
Hi, everyone. Dear Dragons, I'm Frédéric Queudret, the CTO of Acolad. Let's start by imagining that you have a bunch of videos and you want to get the localized summaries from each of the videos. So the traditional way would be watch the video one by one, write the summary, translate the summary into target languages, and then review the translations. So I have a question for you. How long do you think it takes to manage the full process? Raise your hand if you think it takes 1 day, 1 month. So the truth, sometimes for bad reason, yeah. But the truth is in between. So it can take up to 1 week to manage a full process. So we created an innovative solution to accelerate the localization process. And what do you think is the acceleration factor we get with our solution powered with AI? Is it 2x, 5x? Who say better? 10x? Actually, this is 500 times faster than the traditional process with AI. So this is a real-world scenario. I won't be able to cover all the details of the slide because I don't have the time to go into the details, but you'll be able to review the recording after the session. I'd like you to focus on the AI part on the right to see how genuinely we tackle the issue of our customer. So our customer is a well-known media who provides videos and documentaries through an online streaming platform. And time to market is very important, very critical for them because they have to provide localized summaries on time and in line with their TV programming schedule. So from the traditional approach, we turn days into minutes with AI. And we did that with different AI services from the OpenAI platform. Whisper to get the text from the video, and then GPT language models with embedded specific prompts to get the summary and to get the translation. So let's see it in action. It's a very simple web application, very easy to use. You just upload an MP4 file. You get the transcription, you can even edit the transcript, and you can play with different parameters like the temperature to have a more creative output. And then you get all your localized summaries in the different selected target languages in a few minutes. So just if you need to remind 2 important things from this session. First one is we dramatically accelerated the time to market with AI for publishing localized summaries with video. And the second one is we used a mix of different AI services like ASR and GPT for the transcription, summarization, and translation. So our next step is to provide the service to our customer, get their feedback to improve the service. We already have some plan to improve the automated LQA part of it among a lot of different features. So that was Video Content Revolution by Acolad. Thank you for your attention.
Fred, really interesting video.
Thank you.
All right. Did you mention AI as well?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe a little bit.
Questions, Dragons?
Fred.
Yes.
Hi. So, a quick one. This is promising, but to maybe understand if we should just get excited about it, can you maybe put it in context, like, let's say, within the context of this conference, how would we be able to benefit from it?
So there's many ways to benefit from it. Actually, you take a recording, you go through the prototype, and you get the localized summary. So I don't want to influence any vote, but if I win the Process Innovation Challenge with my AI team, we will give it back to the community, and we will provide the localized summary for all the recordings from LocWorld49 for free.
Well, hold you up to it.
Hold on now. Hold on a second here.
That's unfair. Okay.
Thank you.
No, and another use case, very interesting this one, but very funny too. Since we have this prototype and we are using it internally, I'm going less and less, but I have to be very careful because my CEO is in the room, but I'm going less and less to some meetings because I get the recordings, I use a prototype, and in 5 minutes, I'm like, okay, I know everything from that meeting, you know? But so I became a junkie, in fact, of this prototype.
Thank you.
That's a great use case.
Frédéric, you said, I mean, impressive number, the 500 times, right?
Yeah.
Still on the slide that you didn't want to spend too much time on, we also saw some humans in that. So is it totally automated, or are there still, let's say, limitations to the automation because of the humans in the loop?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's not yet fully automated. We have the plan to automate the LQA part, but we want to do it in a hybrid way. So we want to bring some reports regarding categorizing the errors coming from the outputs, and have the human to review and to focus on some of the errors. But where the automated LQA will say, okay, it's fine, it will improve the review process, actually.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great stuff. Thank you, Dragons. Well done, Fred.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Merci.
Well Well, we're getting there, folks. And our final innovator today is Erji, and he's going to have Way backstage.
Hi, hello. My name is Erji from Vmware Localization team, and you know that generative AI is a big thing in the industry. And at Vmware, we partner with Centific. We have a demo today for the source content analysis. And today I'm going to present together with Wei from Centific. Yeah, for source content, sometimes we don't get a lot of information from the content creator, and so a lot of information are missing. So this is not fair enough to the translator. So they need this information to work on the translation. And so we have use the source content. We use the generative AI help us to extract those information. Here's a quick demo we want to show to you. So with the generative AI, we input the content from either TMS or some files, and so the generative AI will automatically help us to generate the summary of the content, and also will do some statistic of the content, for example, the word count and also the language detection. Yeah, so all of these are extracted from the generative AI. And then more important is that they will share what is the writing style, what is the tone of the source content. So this is also very critical to the translator. And with all of this information, next one is the terminologies. So for the new terms, it's not only about the term itself, but it's all provided in the context, and also have the suggestion for the target language. So another advantage of generative AI is that it will be very sensitive about the geopolitical issues. It will flag some of the issue in the source content. Yeah, and also for the very difficult content, so it will flag out and ask a translator to have more attention. For example, you can see some of the content here are very difficult, and so you can see even the last one, yeah. Another thing is it will help us to extract some of the keywords for SEO. So this is also very important when we publish the translated content. Yeah. So all of these are we get from the generative AI, and so it will really help us for the source content process. Yeah. And so source content analysis is just one first step when we use the generative AI. Actually, generative AI has a lot of impact to our industry. So we are also working on other features. So we are working on the content generation, and we also are working on the language quality estimation. So all of these we are still working on. So we hope in the next LocWorld we can share more. So this is only the first step, first episode for us. Yeah. Thank you.
So Erji, very interesting stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't hear bingo being shouted. I'm waiting for that. But we're going to have some questions here, and Wei, you may get involved as well.
Yeah.
Great.
This is very impressive. Quick question. With regards to KPIs, just give us an example of things that you've improved with the source text analysis.
Yes, a lot of customers require us, right? When we're doing the localization, they're always saying garbage in, garbage out. That was the first innovation why we're doing this. So the KPIs we have been tracking behind the scenes, it seems very simple. It's just one button click. But behind the scenes, we have a lot of technologies. We have fine-tuned models, AI models. We have trained all the terminologies, translation memories in there. We also evaluate the model regularly with a lot of data. So we have a lot of KPIs for each model, for each feature, including the terminologies, including the content summary and the style and tones. And also, more importantly, we train the AI how to detect the geopolitical sensitive terms. We use our geopolitical sensitive database to train the AI. When we evaluate, we're using human to evaluate. So a lot of KPIs in there. When you say KPIs depends on the features, we have 20 more different data sets collected by using this system.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm wondering about the ways in which you're using the output. Like the way I see it, the tool is showing you kind of 3 different types of information. So contextual information to help the linguist. It's showing you potential issues with the source content, so quality of the source content directly, and then issues with relevancy or cultural fit, etc. So I'm just wondering, like, are you using this only to provide, to help things with translation, or are you actually using some information to shift the quality left, if you like, engage with the content creation teams? Like, are you getting any data that you can share with them, and so on?
Yeah, I think this is a need two sides work. So for some time we need the translator to do actual work with this information. For some time we need to push back to the upstream, to the content creator. For example, if some information we see is totally inappropriate, yeah, so we need to push back. Yeah, but maybe all of you have used ChatGPT, another OpenAI example. So you can see that actually ChatGPT, they are very sensitive about this political correctness or geopolitical issues. They are very sensitive.
For the output, you were saying today was just an easy user interface we're showing you. But the real output is actually the data. We send the data back to the editors, back to the developers, saying we caught some bugs, we caught some issues from the original content. We also send the summaries and terminologies to the translators, integrated with the TMS to show them those are the metadata you're receiving, what you're localizing. We also detect the terminologies, put in the terminologies list, so the translators and reviewers can see that. So behind the science is all the data. We import data everywhere into the system.
Beautiful, thank you.
Thank you.
Last question for me, I have to ask.
Quick one.
Yes, can we use this AI on AI? So can we actually then check the content of the generated text that we have just generated?
So the answer is yes. So we are showing you it's not based on the only ChatGPT or OpenAI. Behind the technology level, we do support Google. We do support other AI models. So what you are seeing is just the service level of the software, the infrastructure. So can we use this to train another AI, to evaluate another AI? Answer is yes. If you're using different AI model, so you can evaluate another one. But keep in mind, we always have the human in loop. Even this system, we still have a human in loop. Behind the scenes, we train the data, we evaluate the data. Also, we use the human. This system assess the human translation localization process. So there's a lot of technical discussions we can do to follow up this. But thank you
very
so
much.
Yeah, thanks for all the questions.
Thank you both. Well done. Well done, Erji. Was anyone here at the first pick? You might, if you were, oh, there's someone, yeah, a couple of people. You might recognize Wei, who was in the final there. So really nice segue coming back around. Thanks for that. We love segues, don't we?
We love segues, especially riding them around.
Yeah, how much time do we have left? I was hoping we'd have 14 minutes.
Not quite. We got about a 9.
Right, so what do we do next, Alex?
Sounds good. I will briefly explain. So what we're going to do next is ask you to vote. And we're actually introducing ranked voting this time. We want you to rank your top 3. And that's all you do, and submit it. After you submit this, we will take this along with the Dragons' votes. Your audience percentage will be worth 50%. The Dragons will be worth 50%. And join us tomorrow in LocWorld's closing session. That's 4:45 p.m. tomorrow afternoon in this room. And we're going to announce our runner-up and then our Innovator of the Year for Europe award.
So, as Alex was saying, right, you'll just be able to pick. On the mobile, you'll have to scroll over. All right, don't look at the blue dots. You know, make your own mind up. Who is your first pick, second pick, third pick, right? Before someone shouts out, put back the bloody code. There you go, code's there. If anyone has any issues, don't worry about it, right? Just find me and Alex after the show and we'll sort you out. We'll take your vote. Please do vote. You know, we've seen some interesting contests over the years and every vote does count, so.
Keep in mind, you have to say what your email address is and you will only be allowed 1 vote.
Yeah, unfortunately. All right, cool. We've got a couple of minutes. You know who you're voting for. Yeah, we have preliminary rounds. We had 23 people involved, so 17 people aren't on this stage. All right, I'm going to give quick shout outs.
And while you're shouting out, Johan, could you come up to the stage, please?
Yeah, in the foyer area. Right. Yeah, you can see Vivek. Oscar did a really interesting thing on video. We had Pavel, who's from Intento. He's been in the pick a few times. Don't worry, you don't have to read all of this. We're just giving you a snapshot because we feel this platform is for innovators and anyone who makes it to the final has done a fantastic job. Anyone who's in the prelims, as you can probably tell, has done a very good job as well. Very hard for the Dragons to make this decision. I think there was some tears as well, wasn't there? Yeah, a few. So you can get a fairly good impression of what's going on. And let me just skip forward a little bit. Alexander was there. There's Klaus. Klaus is somewhere in the building, if he's not here. Sorry, I skipped over one. That's not fair. Rares was there from RWS, colleague of Marina. We had Deborah. Deborah was calling from mid-Africa, and she had a very interesting app, actually, so it was wonderful to see her. Richard, many of you will know him. He was involved in this kind of kite idea. And Mikkel, of course. AI came up a lot in the preliminary rounds, as you can see from the titles and the screen grabs. So you're probably wondering, okay, great, Dave, get on with this. Where can we get more? Well, real easy. Right, Alex? Where can we get more?
So if you're interested, we've got a Pick YouTube channel. It's part of the LocWorld YouTube channel. We're recording today's session. It'll be published there next week. If you want to see the preliminary rounds, they're available. It's free. Go back and watch them. Really good innovations as well. Also want to say that people who pitched in the preliminaries that didn't make the final are welcome to submit again for the next competition.
As are any of you, do you see yourself on this stage? Well, you can come up afterwards and see what it feels like. It's fine. You can walk and say, I was on the pick stage. Grand. But if you do, next one is Silicon Valley. Call for papers will be out. Or talk to us and we'll give you some tips. Okay. So there's your voting. Hey, one of the things that we really love about doing the pick is sometimes we see ideas that, I call moonshots, and I just kind of go, ooh, wow, you're way up there. Ooh, love it. That's where I like to create sometimes. And one of those we got from Johan Spora, and from many of you who will know Johan. And I just thought, Johan, we'd have a quick chat if you want to join us here. Tell us a little bit about this moonshot idea you had. There's a mic for you.
Yeah, okay. So, you know me. Some have known me that I have, many years ago, I have a background in logistics and third-party logistics and transportation. And everybody knew what the wages were. Everybody knows what the transportation costs were. And all providers looked more or less the same. And processing the same thing. So it was really that the business, the listed business, was really commoditized. And what I can see is, I can see that the same thing is happening here. And also what I hear is now that we, as buyers, we use more AI-generated content. And also that we are expected to lower costs and with new technologies, and we want better quality. And then we have this, our dear partners, the language service provider, language service partners, I would like to say. It's really that they were about the payment terms. They also were about the post editing and the AI killing the business. And also knowing that it's really hard to keep the linguists. And I mean, really, for coming from my heart, this is where the craftsmanship is. And I believe we need a new business model. So in third-party logistics, we actually agreed on a margin matching effectiveness and efficiency. And I think if we could think of language transformation, I would like to talk about, as a subscription where we agree on a quality level and share the risk, the margin, to achieve a better quality together, where we know that the linguists get rewarded for their contribution. This is me, a concept I launched in the PIC, and I will be standing down there at the booth where the guys with the technology, and if you want to chip in, join me. And then we can speak up and see if we can find a table tomorrow at lunch and speak more. Because do we dare not to change?
Johan, before you go, so thank you, Johan. Interesting, right? You heard it here at the pick first, right? Well, you said it here first. Oh, good. Have that on record. So interesting. So find Johan over there out in the technology corner, and maybe lunch tomorrow if you're interested in just chatting about that topic. Thank you, Johan. Well done. Great. So anyone here innovation this morning? No? Oh, there's one person who was at the innovation keynote. Seriously, where are we all, folks? Having coffee? So as you probably know, right, Sophie Lindblom spoke about innovation. And Sophie, if you'd like to join me up here, I'd love to get your thoughts on what you saw here and just general ideas on innovation for us. What do you think of what you saw?
Hello again. Can't get rid of me. I mean, amazing. I'm extremely impressed. It takes a lot to stand up here in the bright light and pitch an idea. It's quite a vulnerable situation, at least to many. And I think you did a wonderful job showing both the need, the value, and the solution. One thing that I would look at, depending on what the goal is the market, who is doing similar things, and what differentiates your company from the rest, and the go-to-market approach. But excellent. Really
and isn't that key, that whole applicability and how you bring it to market? Is it blue ocean? Is it a bit reddish? As an innovator, is that something that you should be overthinking, or you just do it in the right time?
I would say it's too soon to tell if it's a blue ocean or a red ocean opportunity, to be honest. We all know it's happening, this big technological shift, but we're not sure what direction it's going, and therefore I think keeping a close eye on the market and people who are doing the same thing is going to be really important.
So we're waiting for them to buy digital cameras, basically.
It's the fluid phase.
Fluid phase. Excellent. Thank you very much, Sophie, for joining us.
Thank you.
Well done. Thank you. Thanks, Sophie. The fluid phase, some people here will be saying, yeah, I want a fluid phase with a cup of coffee, Dave. Get off the stage. So please vote. Everyone been voting? Is it working well? Great. Anyone who isn't, please join us here. And, well, we'll do some final thank yous here.
Yeah, thanks first of all to all of our 6 innovators. Congratulations on making the final round. To the other 17 innovators who were in the preliminary rounds, congratulations, and we hope to see you again. Please submit your innovations. We will open the next call for papers in early July, so keep an eye out on our PIC website, pic.locworld.com. Again, all the content from the recent is on our LocWorld YouTube channel as well, and this recording will be up there early next week also. So
big shout out to our dragons. Great job.
Yeah, thank you, Giulia. Thank you, Esther. Thank you, Britta. And you know what, Dave? With all the timings and everything, we did it to the minute. It's 2:30.
The minute?
That's pretty impressive.
I mean, seriously, folks. 14 tries at it, we're getting the timing right, you know. Hey, what's all this? Oh, this is going the wrong way. Yeah, I'm pressing the red button. We like gremlins at the pick, and we didn't really have one. So there you go. There's the end of the movie. If you haven't seen it, I do recommend you have a look at it. This is
cringe.
Swedish. It's Swedish. It's okay. It's okay. How do we pronounce it, Anne-Marie? Slut. Slut. Okay, so be careful with that one. Show over, folks. Thank you very much.
If you'd like to say hi to the innovators, stick around. We're going to hang out. Thank you.